Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It is a beautiful Monday morning here outside of Dallas, Texas, the Shell Shock CBD HQ, and my beautiful bearded husband sitting across from me that is just playing those buttons like it's a man clit. He's just over there making it happen. Josh is in the house. Hopefully everybody's doing well today. Thank you for being here and spending your day with us. Apologies for the late start today. It is a Monday. But it's a good Monday.
It's a Monday.
So we were talking before the show. So like, what? You're on your own. You're on your own this week.
Yeah, my wife took off for San Diego this week for work.
Just for work. So if Laura's listening, it's just for work.
She went to go get a pack of cigarettes. Hopefully we see her back.
Well, you said that like as soon as she was gone, your kid's like, I miss mommy. Like, shut up, you little shits. You're gonna eat this PB&J and like it.
That's shuttling them all over the place, and of course, like everything happens this week too. So soccer practice, football practice.
So you're all over the place.
Appointments. We got to go get passports. So, yay!
You poor thing. You poor thing.
So it looks like McDonald's on the menu for dinner every night this week.
McDonald's is back on the menu,
boys. Pizza.
Yep.
All right, kids.
I actually had a very good weekend. It was a beautiful weekend. I got a little tan. I took the bike out, and then we were talking earlier, like the wind. I don't know what's going on in and around Dallas. The wind has been insane.
It's crazy.
Like all night, the last 2 nights, you just heard it whipping around the house to the point where you think it's like, is there something blowing in? Like, what's going on? I think it's supposed to be raining here for the next couple of days, but dude, the wind is. When I was out on the bike, I had to lean into it because it was a strong crosswind and it was pushing me all over the road. It's like, what the fuck is going on? So it was nuts, but went out on a few dates. That was interesting. So it was a good time.
All right, okay.
Good time. It was fun. Went to Legacy West. I don't know if you've ever been there.
Yeah, it's awesome over there.
Yeah, I don't go out much. So I met a girl there for a date. She picked a Mexican restaurant. That was like a good sign. Like it's a green flag right off the bat.
Mexican sugar?
Her or the restaurant?
The restaurant.
Because like yes to both. Yes to both.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's really...
No, it was something with an M. I forget.
There's a really good Mexican restaurant over there called Mexican Sugar. It
wasn't that one. It was
really
something else. It was like...
That's a cool spot over there, though.
It is. It's like a little hidden gem. There's a lot to see. But I've been there before because there's a Tesla dealership over there. And that's where I'd originally went to look at getting a Tesla. But they didn't carry them there. It's just they sell them and they deliver it to you. So that's the first time I actually checked that area out. But it was really beautiful. And of course, it's like if you've never been, of course, I'm sure majority of our listeners have never been there. But just imagine like a cobblestone road. Or more like it's a nicer road. And on both sides of it are shops of Tiffany's, everything like upscale kinds of areas. And in the middle of that road, it's like the whole day, like people are driving their nice ass cars and you see the young little, oh my God, Athena just busted. Omar's got to be out. Athena, Omar's got to be out there.
Like
She's probably like scared of him. But no, people are like driving their freaking, I'm going to throw this at her. Athena, come here. Oh my God. Omar dropped a package. This is like months ago.
That'll do.
You know better. Omar dropped a package next to her like months ago, and it scared the shit out of her. And Omar's a good dude. And anytime Omar comes near her, she starts growling. And it's just like... And he gives her treats, and she loves him when he gives her treats and snacks. But she's just, dude, I don't get it with her. Like, she loves everybody. But with Omar, like,
Omar and the mailman.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and the mailman's here every freaking day, and she's just, I don't know. And I think it's something, like, before I got her when she was 2, and I think it has to do something with the uniform. I don't know. But it doesn't matter which mailman it is. Omar is just like, it's probably because I'm, like, Hispanic. I'm like, yeah, I have a racist dog. That's absolutely it, yes. But no, like I have never seen her like that. But she doesn't stop. She doesn't listen. Like I'll tell her to stop and she won't listen. But yeah, crazy fun weekend though. Beautiful day out. So hopefully everybody listening, hopefully you're having a good day. Good start to a good weekend. All right, so let's get into it. This day in history. We got some interesting stuff here to cover. So let's do this. This day in history. April 11th, 1814, Napoleon Bonaparte, Emperor of France and one of the greatest military leaders in history, abdicates the throne and, in the Treaty of Fontainebleau, is banished to the Mediterranean island of Elba. The future emperor was born in Ajaccio, Corsica on August 15, 1769. After attending military school, he fought during the French Revolution of 1789 and rapidly rose through the military ranks, leading French troops in a successful number of campaigns throughout Europe in the late 1700s. By 1799, he had established himself as a top military dictatorship. In 1804, he became Emperor of France and continued to consolidate power throughout his military campaigns, so that by 1810, much of Europe had come under his rule. Although Napoleon developed a reputation for being power-hungry and insecure, he is also credited with enacting a series of important political and social reforms that had a lasting impact on European society, including judiciary systems, constitutions, voting rights for all men, and the end of feudalism. Additionally, he supported education, science, and literature. His Code Napoleon, which codified key freedoms gained during the French Revolution, such as religious tolerance, remains the foundation of the French and civil law. And that's this day in history. There's a lot. My mind wandered because I saw like the island of Elba, and I love certain literary works, and Count of Monte Cristo is definitely one. It's like one of the top ones. And the Count of Monte Cristo, for those that have never, there's actually a good movie about it with Jim Caviezel, the guy who played Passion of the Christ. If you've never seen this movie, it's a little bit older, but it's really well done. And it starts out with Jim Caviezel's character, Edmond Dantes, or Dante, I believe, or Dantes, I think. Him and his buddy get to this island, and one of their crewmates is like sick or shot or something like that. And it turns out to be the island of Elba, where Napoleon is stranded on. And they don't know it. And so they take their wounded shipmate in there, and Napoleon's like, my doctors will heal him, but in one condition, you have to give this note to somebody in France. And so Jim Caviezel's character takes the note, unknowingly that he's actually committing treason because it's a letter from Napoleon giving patrol schedules, all this stuff. And it just starts from there. But the island of Elba triggered that memory. It's a really, really good movie. If you've never seen it, have you seen it?
No, I've never seen it.
Oh, you need to. It's really well done. It's gonna hook you. And yeah. It just talks about like Napoleonic period and all that. So a lot of swordplay, some hot air balloons, a lot of gold, women, beautiful women with large bosoms, like with their bosoms pushed up.
Keep going.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Men with big packages, cod pieces. Just a good old gay time everywhere. Yeah, absolutely. So
a little something for everybody.
So, but that's this day in history. Love me some Napoleon history. Who wasn't it the Battle of Waterloo that he got his ass whooped? I think it was. Yeah. So
I'll take your word for it.
I think it was. I think the reason I know that is ABBA sang about that. Waterloo. Yeah. No, I knew it prior to that. But it's like, yeah, that's one of those things. But all right. So I'm over this Ukrainian thing. I'm over it. The news is nonstop plastering it. It is just nonstop emotionally driven rhetoric. I mean, Crenshaw's still going on about it. Cruz, all these people. Well, there's a new conservative now war hawking out there and simping for this war, and his name is Mark Levin. And people worship this guy. Apparently, he's very intelligent. He's very constitutional based.
I mean, Mark Levin?
Mark Levin, excuse me. I don't even know what this dude's. I don't watch his stuff. He's boring to me. It's like I'd rather watch paint dry on a wall. And there's good reason. I usually have a second sense about these types of things. And these people they are not what they claim to be. And during dire circumstances, you really see people's true colors come out. And this guy, this is the article I read on Fox News. And it was really perplexing to me that this guy of all people would be saying this. But he says, and I quote, Mark Levin, ashamed of U.S. response to Ukraine invasion, urges Biden to start muscling up U.S. military. Now, in the last show we did Friday, we left that saying that they are going to be conducting military operations in Poland. They're plussing up troop strengths over there, which is the right thing to do. Again, strengthen the borders, much like we should do in America.
Oh,
Kamala, I'm just throwing that out there. But we can do it in Poland, but fuck America, right? Ukraine or Russians bad, Mexicans good. That's perfectly fine. So it makes no sense to me, sovereign citizens and all that. Mark Levin said Sunday that he is ashamed of the United States' response to Russia's deadly invasion of Ukraine, adding that the country will look back with regret and wonder, why didn't we do more to stop the bloodshed of innocent civilians? There is so much to unpack in that one statement. Let me ask Mark, it's like, what happens if China goes after Taiwan?
Right.
How much of this world policing do you feel that America should be a part of because innocent civilians are dying? Don't get me wrong. It's a horrible thing. Not my problem.
Yeah, that's kind of interesting because Mark Levin is, they call him the Great One because of his take on politics.
He's way off.
Yeah,
this guy's a fucking warhawk. I lost all respect. What little respect I did, all of it's gone. Yeah, not that he gives a fuck, but it's just kind of like, you want to, what? Like, what?
Yeah.
I honestly feel like if Putin does take Ukraine, he's going to stop there. Because I got another article I want to cover here that's actually showing some very seriousness as far as if Putin strikes at NATO, then it will be a full-on war. And Putin's not going to. Putin knows better. But Mark Levin to say this, it's perplexing to me.
It is strange because that's so
come on, man. It's all about money. It's all about money. And this dude's just saying, you're going to look back with regret and wonder. Dude, I don't give a fuck about looking back.
Yeah.
What if we just look back over the last 20 years of the Middle East? Are there regrets there? Yeah, that we even got involved. What about Vietnam? What about all these major conflicts that we got involved in? Send our men and women to go fight and die for these countries that can do it their own selves. And again, like I said before, like anytime NATO wants to flex, they pull America into it, and we wind up being the freaking tip of the spear.
Oh. For everything.
For everything. So it's like, fuck NATO. It's like we should commit a certain percentage and match those percentages with these other countries. We should not be the main group of people spearheading these operations. It's just not right. Yeah. So he continues and he says, the Life, Liberty, and Levin host delivered an impassioned monologue on his show over the weekend where he spoke out against Putin's defenders and isolationists who warned the U.S. against taking action to defend the Ukrainian people. And he says, I am sick and tired of the Putin wing of media, the Putin wing of the Republican Party, the Putin wing of the Democrat Party. I am sick of them. Levin, what the fuck are you talking about? This is a liberal tactic of everyone I hate is a Nazi. Where are the Putin apologists? Who is actually rooting for Putin in the MSM on either side? Because I don't see it. I legitimately do not see that. Where is this coming from? Or are you trying to fabricate this element to give you something to posture against, to make yourself look good and give you something to talk about? Nobody is on Putin's side in the MSM. But as far as isolationists, Levin's talking about like we should get, like, Levin, when did America get involved in World War I? At what point did America get involved in World War II? You know, it was ongoing for years before America finally threw its hat in the ring, and justifiably so. What are you talking about? Isolationists. It's for a lot of these people, it's one or the other. It's like, you know, we shouldn't be isolationists. Like, it's not being an isolationist. It's saying we are not the world police. We should not be sticking our noses where it doesn't concern us, especially when the White House and the Obama administration had a lot to do with this.
Yeah, these politicians get a little too cavalier.
Absolutely.
With
other people's lives. Yes. And Mark Levin, of all people, like, look, bud, I understand you're a short little bald fat fuck, but there are Ukrainian citizens over there that are 80 years old throwing rounds with the Taliban. We fought them too. Throwing rounds with Russians. What's stopping you?
Yeah.
What is stopping you, sir? You have the money. Catch the next thing smoking, go grab a rifle, and go do the fighting that you feel the U.S. military should do. Because, again, this is what these types of people try to do. They're calling for arms. They're calling for violence. Well, guess what? This isn't like an American war where you have to enlist to go do it, so therefore you can't. You can literally go and enlist in the Ukrainian army. Go do it. Stop, like you said, stop being so cavalier with other people's lives, and you go put your money where your mouth is. And if you won't, shut the fuck up. Like, shut your mouth, dude. These political pundits never get called out on their bullshit. They never get called out on their bullshit. Like, people just need to sit there and say, look, dude, you're preaching a big game. Back it. Because the people like myself that actually have, it's like, this is not what we want. We don't need to get involved in this. Not yet. Let it see. Let's just let it ferment a little bit, and let's see what maybe freaking Ukraine stems this invasion. They hold it off. There's a I didn't think it would be. I didn't think they would last nearly as long as this.
Yeah, hopefully they do. Hopefully they
hope they
Russia
do.
Back, and
but at
Russia
the same
has
token,
to rethink their entire way of living life.
I'm telling you. I mean, it's going to take a long time for Russia to recover from this, economically wise.
Oh, yeah.
It's going to take a long time, but even still.
Looking back now, Putin was probably like, this was a terrible idea. This is such a bad idea.
I think he's hitting the point now to where it's either, and I know it's like a 50-50 thing in all cases, but it's like it's going to be one of this that he doubles down and he throws everything he's got at it.
Oh, yeah.
Or basically says, I got to retreat, lick my wounds, and I'm done. Like, I don't think Russia will tolerate him at this point anymore.
Are they now?
Oh, what?
Like, if another country wanted to go in and try to take over Russia now.
I have no idea.
I mean,
dude, because everything we see in the media, we just don't know. I had people like linking me interviews that these other podcasters are doing, all this other stuff, talking about like, oh no, we have boots on the ground. It's like, who? It's like, well, we're not going to give away our sources. Like, dude, I don't know. I don't believe you.
Yeah.
It's like, again, the MSM has lied to such an extravagant point that we just don't know where to get our accurate information from. So I don't know how Russia's doing. I don't know how Ukraine's doing. But what I do know is there are a lot of bad guys on both sides. Now there's reports, and I don't know if I believe this or not, that Ukrainians are killing Ukrainians and staging it to make it look like Russians killed them. I don't know. I'm not saying it's true, and I'm not saying it's not. But look, you cannot even believe everything you read on the internet now, because now they're so good at photoshopping. You just don't. Look, when this thing first kicked off like 40 or 50 days ago, there was this video game footage, and that's what they labeled the Ghost of Kiev. It looked just like a fighter plane or a jet.
Yeah.
And people were like, oh, no, that's actually from a video game. It's like, dude, that looks so fucking realistic.
It's crazy.
So real. Because it was a shot of a plane flying over a city skyscraper. There was a little bit of smoke. It's like, no, that's actually from a video game. And I'm like, I'm kind of ashamed that I fell for that. But, dude, I went back and I watched this. Like, that looks so exactly. How do you know?
Somebody's supposed to be telling you the truth, and all of a sudden they start, like, putting fake stuff up.
This is what happened. This is what the media has created with your opinion, your op-ed bullshit at the forefront of your pages. You're not reporting facts anymore. You're just reporting political opinion. Mm-hmm. And everything is tied so closely with the political opinions of the Biden administration that they're going to make it either extremely pro or extremely con. And you don't know, and like the truth lies somewhere in the middle. It's like, if I can't cipher through the bullshit or I get tired of it, then I just stop fucking caring. Yeah, I don't care about Ukraine. I don't care about Ukrainian civilians and all the people. You're such a whore, but no, because you don't care either. If you actually gave a fuck, you'd be over there fighting, or you'd be donating to causes, but you don't know where the money's going.
Yeah.
So it's like, stop with your bullshit posturing. I don't believe you. I just don't believe you anymore.
I mean, at this point, I think the one thing I can trust is that anything that the Democrats are accusing the Republicans of,
they're probably guilty of themselves.
They're doing it themselves.
Yeah, I wouldn't doubt it. But I mean, that's where we're at right now. And then he says the Putin wing of the Republican Party. Who is that? Who is he referring to here? The Putin wing of the Republican Party?
Mitt Romney.
I wouldn't doubt that. Like him, he was Collins, like celebrating the appointment of Brown, what's her face, the new Supreme Court. Like he was sitting there clapping. Like, I don't get how. And then I read an article that Liz Cheney's like garnished another $3 million for her reelection bid. Dude, look, I'm telling you, if she gets reelected, that district should be highly ashamed of itself and should be shamed on the national level. It's like, you voted for this idiot. This woman that's a turncoat traitor. And it's not that she's anti-Trump. It's not, I have no beef with that. It's that she sat there and voted to impeach Trump over something he didn't do.
Yeah.
That's what I have a problem with. It just means that you're a bad faith actor. Mm-hmm. You're not honest. You're not for actual justice. You're for opinion-based, but you're a political opinion-based perception to what? Get favoritism with the left? What's that going to do for you? It's, dude, and I wonder if a lot of Republicans start doing that in a sense of, well, maybe not. I take that back because it doesn't make sense because there is a red wave coming. I think a lot of Republicans that are more centrist are a little bit nervous because they're going to get ousted by hardcore Republicans. Yeah. I really do think so. So I was going to say maybe it's a lot of the Republicans are afraid that the left is like growing in popularity, so they want to lean a little bit more leftist to be accepted. But I don't think that's going to be the case because the right is just, it's growing fast. Like they're unseating a lot of people.
When you have the Democrats pushing sex on children in public schools and that kind of stuff, then you're going to have a lot of people who weren't speaking up before get up and be like, maybe you should shut the fuck up. Mm-hmm. Leave my kids alone. Mm-hmm. Don't talk to them about sex.
Dude, I'm telling you.
Don't try to sexualize my kids.
We've got another article about Disney eras talking about this, and it's just like, good, magnify this message, get it out there, expose them, and then you see, come election time, dude, like just hammer them. Yeah. Hammer them to the wall. But he continues, says, they have been lying for weeks, if not months. I'm tired of isolationists and those that say, what do you want to do? Drag us into a war? Did you not see the pictures, he asserted? Okay, that right there, that's just an emotional-based argument. I don't give a fuck about those pictures. I don't give a fuck about those people. I don't feel bad in saying that. It's the truth. Why should we give a fuck? What have they done for us? You do realize that we're technically not even NATO allies. So, I mean, we've got so much money being poured in that money scheming operation under the Obama administration. Mm-hmm. All this is political DC hacks trying to protect their interests in Ukraine. That's all this is.
Oh, yeah.
This is another resource-based fucking thing to where they don't want Russia coming in there horning in on our business. Talks about, have you not seen the pictures? Fuck those pictures. I don't care. Dude, I've seen it too. I've seen it firsthand. Like, I don't give a shit. Mark, I'm telling you, bro, if you feel so adamantly about there, take your little fat ass over to fucking Ukraine and go fight. Like, here's the thing. Like, hit that share button Or if you know Mark Levin, tell him John Burke is calling him out. I don't even want to debate the little porker. Put your fucking money where your mouth is, rich boy, and go fight. Until then, shut the fuck up. Anytime anybody is calling for war, any of these politicians, put your money where your mouth is and go fight or shut the fuck up. You can. You certainly can, but you won't. You want other people to go fight and die for your beliefs and your ideologies. So you keep saying isolationist. This does not make us an isolationist. It makes us, we don't want to be the world police, and we don't want to send our military to go fight and die for a corrupted country that the Obama administration had a major hand in tipping the scales to install a pro-Western government. Sorry. Mark Levin, let me tell you something else there, guy. Have you seen the pictures? Why don't you start looking pictures of the dead Americans from the GWAT? Why don't you start looking at the pictures that'll be of dead Americans? Does that, right? Is that how it should be? So now we should let images dictate our emotional responses to international conflict? That is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. And this is coming from a guy that's very passionate. I'm very emotional on certain things like this. But I try not to let those emotions guide my decision making. But this douchebag? Like, are you kidding me? Send your kids, Mark, if you got them. Politicians, why don't you send your children? Mm-hmm. That should be a requirement. If you're a politician and you vote in favor of war, that means your kid has to be in. I know it's not going to be real, but it'd be funny as hell. It's like, okay, you going to send your kids? You going to go send your kids to go die for this war, Mark? I don't think so. I think you're full of shit.
Nah.
And that's the problem, is these cushy political pundits are so just enwrapped in their little offices and their microphones, and it's an echo chamber, and nobody can pierce that echo chamber to get a voice in edgewise to call them out. So they don't hear a lot of discontent. It's literally just a one-way conversation. Get somebody like me. I would love to sit down and like, look, dude, you're full of shit. Yeah. Go fucking fight. What's stopping you? Well, I could probably do more good here. No, you can't. Absolutely you can't. Go fight. Yeah. That's all there is to it. Go fight. Shapiro, too. Shapiro, go fight. Well, let me be clear, guy. I mean, hypothetically speaking, maybe you had enough money to where you could possibly buy a one-way plane ticket to Ukraine. We're the fastest growing Azov battalion of Nazis in Ukraine. Go fight, dude. Crenshaw too. Go fight. If y'all are so adamant about this, dude, there is nothing stopping you. Mm-hmm. And people try and mush this down in political debate and all this other stuff. No, at the core foundation, it comes down to this. If you personally are not going to go fight, stop calling for other people to do that. Absolutely not.
And who would want this administration to go in any
Exactly.
war?
Do you really trust the Biden administration? Like, that's another thing, Mark, I don't get with him or Shapiro. It's like if the Biden administration can't even handle basic economics.
If they can't handle the withdrawal from Afghanistan without getting 12 people murdered, then getting into another war, that's probably going to be a terrible idea.
It's a horrible idea.
Yeah.
And then you've got General Mark Miley. You've got SecDef Lloyd. Like, you really trust these woke morons to go up? Like, really?
I know.
You want these people running a war? Dude, we do not have a military. We do not have a military right now that is being led by authentic, good faith military leaders.
Yeah.
These are bureaucrats in uniform pandering for a seat on a Raytheon board when they get out.
Yep.
It's all about the money. We do not have actual good people leading our military.
Yeah, because if you go into a war, you want to go in
with
and
the best, and you want, exactly. You're in there to fight, win. You're not there to win hearts and minds.
As fast as possible.
Blitzkrieg that motherfucker, but no, that's never going to happen anymore because those days are over. Everything's hearts and minds. That's just the way it goes. So he says, I'm ashamed at the response of the government, he continued. 50 years from now, people will look back and they will say, why didn't we do more? Levine, how many millions of taxpayer dollars have been poured into Ukraine against our will? Against our will. How many millions of dollars? I think a week ago it was 500 million.
Billions of dollars.
It's got to be billions at this point. What do you mean do more? What you're wanting is for Americans to go over there and pull triggers and die. Dude, I would be so nervous if I was in the military right now. It's like, I don't want to die for this. I don't want to die. This is not worth dying for.
Yeah, I know.
For what? To die for what? Ukrainian freedom? They don't give a fuck about us.
For Burisma?
Jesus, yeah. He keeps going off on this, like, 50 years from now, we'll look back. It's like, I'm not going to give a fuck. I'll be dead. I don't give a shit. Or 50 years from now, we'll look back and say, I'm glad we didn't get involved in that because that could have been another Vietnam. We just don't know. Levin said foreign enemies will interpret the United States' lack of involvement as weakness on the part of President Joe Biden. Dude, they already look at Biden this week.
I know. They could just see him standing by himself, staring at a curtain.
Bro,
and know that he's a complete...
Hey, where's the war at, man? That's two statements Mark Levin has said in this interview that were emotionally charged and full of rhetoric. The first one was, have you seen the images? Come on, I don't care about the images. And the second one is like, the enemies will interpret this as a sign of weakness. Who gives a shit? You play your cards close to your chest. You don't have to sit there and posture every opportunity you get. But on the international stage, Biden is already looked at as being weak. Hence why Putin conducted this operation when Biden was the president and not Trump. So it's a little too late for that, Mark. I don't think you know what you're talking about. Yeah. If you're the great one, you sound really fucking stupid at this point. And it's pretty pathetic that someone like John Burke, who is not nearly as half as educated as you retards are, is calling you out on this bullshit. I'm appalled. I am aghast, sir. I am aghast. That someone as ignorant as me, that does not have these Cornell University degrees. Oh, sir. Full of shit you sound, sir. Oh, right, sir. He says, these are grave times, he warned. Now is not the time to hide. Now is not the time to be quiet. Now is the time. We just spent 20 years, $7 trillion in the Middle East, thousands of Americans dead. Only for China to step in and start horning into Afghanistan for resources. Are you kidding me? America is war-weary, Mark. While we were at war, you were sitting your fat ass on Fox and Friends bitching about shit that you personally had nothing to do with. So on behalf of my generation of veterans, speaking for myself alone here, to your generation of do-nothing fucking word vomit types, shut the fuck up. Like, shut the fuck up, dude. Until I actually see you go over there, your words mean dick all. Now is not the time to hide. Now is not the time to be quiet. Now is not the time to pretend that your ideology will keep us safe when it won't. Mark, do you really think Putin is going to push beyond Ukraine? I don't. Because if Putin does and he goes after NATO, he's got all of NATO coming down on him. He cannot handle that. Economically, he is starving to death. The only thing that this will do is bring China into it. And if China steps into the ring, it is World War III. I guarantee it. I guarantee it. So all these people out there, I get the premise of what they're saying. We need to beat the bad guy back and make sure that he understands your place is in Russia. Stop expanding. Mm-hmm. Look, Ukraine did not want to join NATO. They're still denying it. Zelensky is a puppet actor president. There is so much corruption all over the place on this. This is not a black and white good versus bad. This is which corrupted government do you want to fight and die for? And I will say this with a clean mind. Fuck the American one. I'll say that as a free American. Fuck this government. It ain't worth dying for. These people, they ain't worth dying for. Absolutely not. Because here's the deal. If you as an American go over there and you fight for Ukraine, you're not dying for Americans. You're not. It's hard words, but it's the truth. You ain't dying for American interests. You're dying for Ukrainian interests. You're dying for corrupted bureaucrats' interests over there. That's all this is. So, spare me your emotional rhetoric. We should be muscling up the U.S. military just in case. We already are, Mark. You don't know what you're talking about. We should be muscling up NATO just in case. They already are, Mark. You don't know what you're talking about. We should be arming the Taiwanese before they are attacked by the communist Chinese. Dude, are you serious? See, what the fuck are you talking about? You're wanting to get us into a World War III. You want us to push into Ukraine and fight Russia. You want us to have a proxy war with China via Taiwan. Are you fucking retarded? Yeah, it's like that meme with Spider-Man, but it's like America versus China and Russia. If it's America versus China and Russia, we're fucked. We're fucked. Do you really think America, and I know it wouldn't be just America. We probably have the Brits. We have a lot of people, but I don't want a war. I don't want a world war.
Maybe.
I'm kind of at this thing where I appreciate peace. You know, we've only had it for 6-7 months now of no Middle Eastern war.
I mean, and just a little bit. Terrible withdrawal.
A horrible withdrawal. But can we at least have some, you got to finish your Iraq and Afghanistan before you can have some Russia and China. Right. And I'm telling you this right now, Russia and China, you thought Afghanistan and Iraq were bad. Absolutely. It's not even, it's going to pale in comparison to what will happen with China and Russia. And ladies and gentlemen that are listening to this, don't you think for a second this is going to be some war fought in a foreign country. It's going to be back and forth, intercontinental ballistic. It's going to be a serious issue. Civilians on both sides, to include America, will die. People are looking at this from the optics of what the global war on terrorism did for 20 years. This will not be a war in Iraq and Afghanistan where it's held there. This will be world fucking wide. Talking about getting... No. None of our fucking business. We got no business doing that. None. But say, hey, let's go fuck with Russia. Well, all right, let's fuck with China. What could go wrong? And it's not that I'm afraid of them.
What is that, North Korea over there?
You want some too, North Korea? Let's fucking do this, bro. You want some Kim Jong-un? Let's do it.
Punk.
But it's like, and here's the other thing. Say like, and I've said this before in the show, if Putin does go after NATO, then it's a justified war. He's declared war on our allies. We have to respect that. That's why I really don't think he's going to push, but I could be wrong. I don't think he will. But with that being said, it's not that I'm afraid of China or Russia. It's the fact that I'm afraid our administration doesn't have the balls to handle a world war. We don't. We do not have leaders. If we had Trump, I would feel 10 times more confident.
Well, I don't even think we'd be in this position.
Fuck no, we wouldn't. Absolutely. Democrats, good job. Good job, you bunch of fucking retards. Good job. Gas prices through the roof. Food prices continue to skyrocket. You've got a war in Ukraine. You get what you voted for. And your boy is, like you said, he's facing the curtain, not knowing where the fuck to go. You got a puppet president that you voted for because why? Mean tweets hurt my feelings. That's why. Well done, liberals. Well done. This one's on you. It's ridiculous. We should be arming the Taiwanese before they are attacked by the communist Chinese. We already have. If he didn't know that, we've already been facilitating deals with that. He said harpoon missiles and other heavy weapons so they can defend themselves and their freedom. The conservative radio host also urged the Biden administration to stop their negotiations with Iran because it will only lead them to getting access to nuclear. Okay, that I'll agree with. I'll agree with that point. Stop fucking, yeah, absolutely. He says, of course, Levin continued, this all involves American national security. We can't pretend it doesn't. What? It does? Oh, that's right. It involves American national security if you expand our borders to Ukraine. Well, then naturally, yes, they're at our border now, right? A proxy war, it's the same thing. It's the same fucking thing. What an idiot. What an idiot. This is a pure emotionally based argument that he is making. And unfortunately, people like this with a large audience of boomer Republicans, they're just not, he's so smart. Yeah, give me some more war. Just so? Like little fucking lapdogs. Yeah, give me some war. I want some more.
Man, I don't know that people are really getting on board with that stuff. Like as soon as people like him or Crenshaw start to talk about going into war and stuff like that,
I disagree with Crenshaw all over. Like I've had debates with him in the DMs, and I'm like, dude, I was like, I understand that you are a heavy foreign policy guy, and I respect that. I was like, but you're off the mark on this one. Like you are way off the mark on this.
Because like a lot of the comments that people are making on this article are very negative.
Good. I hope they say fuck Mark Levin and tell him to shut the fuck up.
Nobody wants to go to war. Like, are you crazy? Stop listening to him.
I'm telling you, watch how this progresses. They're going to change the narrative on this to where if you don't want to get involved in Ukraine, it's not the fact that you don't want to get involved in a corrupted country and government. It's the fact that you're afraid of Russia. You're afraid of, what are you, a coward? I was like, no, don't try and posture like that. It has nothing to do with it. But what I do want, and when he talks about like America should say nothing, my God, what do you want, dude? We've condemned it. We've had UN pass resolutions like we actively condemn those. Putin doesn't give a fuck. Yeah. He doesn't give a shit. What do you want, Mark? Like, seriously. What an idiot. And he says, this all involves American national security. We can't pretend it doesn't. You think they will leave us alone, that this will not affect us economically? It already is.
Yeah.
It already is. All you're going to do is elongate this. Because if we go in after Russia, do you really think China is going to stand idly by? If anything, we'll be in a proxy war with China via Russia. Have you idiots, even the fucking general dipshit Miley is saying this could go on for years. Because originally he said 72 hours. And then he came back and he said, we were busy hunting out extremists within the ranks. We came back and went back to the drawing board. And we circled back with Secchi and we realized this actually could go on for years. Miley, Levin, like, I don't know where you're getting your information from. Like, this is not going to be a one and done type of ordeal. Mm-hmm. They're still there. They're still fighting. We're going into month 2. This will not affect us economic, or he said this, you can't think this will not affect us economically, geopolitically, in every other way. Of course it is. When bullies see weakness, they attack. These genocidal mass murders in China and Russia and the Middle East, they see weakness. And what have we learned from the Middle East, Mark? What have we learned in the Middle East as far as these genocides, that we have commanders and leaders in the military that don't have the balls to go in there and fight this war the way it needed to be fought? That's why we lost in the Middle East, Mark. We did not have generals that actually, we didn't have any Pattons. We didn't have any Schwarzkopfs. We didn't have any Westmorlands. We had Petraeus. We had all these douchebags that in the end, they were fucking pussies. They didn't have the balls to say, you know what? Drop the bomb, smash them all. Just fucking kill them all. There's no other way. There is no other way. I'm telling you, it's a horrible thing to say, but when you are fighting unconventional forces, that's the only option you've got. And it didn't work in Vietnam, and it's probably not going to work in Afghanistan. So here's the best bet. Stay the fuck out of it. Strengthen our borders. Let's grow America. Let's rebuild our economy. Let's strengthen our military. Let's be ready to go and ramp up our resources, because right now, we just finished a 20-year war. We are indebted to China up to like, what, $3 trillion, probably more than that. Let's focus on America first. Trump had that right. But these Mark Levin dudes, you're wanting to bankrupt us. You're wanting to send us into these other wars that are costly to us. But hey, they make you money. They get you ratings. The banks love it. The military-industrial complex grows. Politicians are fucking lining their wallets with all these fucking contracts to favoring. Absolutely. I mean, fuck, World War II pulled us out of the Great Depression. This is not unheard of. When bullies see weakness, they attack. These genocidal mass murders in China. Okay, so then what about Tibet, Mark? What about Tibet? You want us to go invade China? The Uyghurs, you want us to get involved in that? Like, where does that, if that's your line of argument, if that's your line of questioning, explain to me where the line is drawn then. Because there's still warmongering going on in Africa where children are being converted into child soldiers. There's still blood mining. There's still all kinds of, even in South America. So tell me, Mark, with your grandstanding altruistic outlook on the world, wherever there's no democracy, we should be there to instill it. No, that's a form of dictatorship. That's a form of oppression. If the people there don't want it and they're not willing to fight for it, they don't deserve it. That's why we're blessed to be in America. And many of you people that are listening to this need to wake up and realize that and understand the fact that our forefathers paid for this with their blood. They defended what we have right now. And we've gotten so fat and accustomed to this, we no longer appreciate it. So you'll excuse me if I don't give a fuck about the men, women, and children dying over there. That's not my problem, because I don't want my children going over there and dying for the job they should be doing, and which, by the way, they are doing. Effectively, might I add. And I'll end it with this. Bro, until I see you pulling a trigger, your opinion means dick all to me. So shut the fuck up and stop trying to warmonger and get people to come to your side and want to go fight these wars. You people have no idea what you're asking for. None. It should be avoided at every cost, at all costs, until you are left with no other. Until your back is against the wall, you should avoid war at all costs. At all costs. But people like him don't realize that. All right, moving on. China. Speaking of China, dude, these articles, these pictures, it's insane. Shanghai residents trapped in lockdowns scream from their windows to fight over limited food. I saw videos this weekend of shop owners or shops in China being destroyed. Like the civilians are like revolting. They're going in there and breaking in to get food. Like the Chinese government has basically put them in such a strict lockdown that they're delivering food to these places and they can't effectively get enough. And in a normal period of time, they're starving. So they're leaving and they're going and they're pillaging to get food.
Yeah, what are the odds that there's a civil war that breaks out there? Because
I hope it does.
Those citizens,
like, here's the deal.
They have to hate that government.
Oh, absolutely. But here's the deal. It's like if you really wanted to like put China in a state of turmoil, you know what you could do? Empower the revolution. Yeah. Because you remember what happened in Hong Kong? Again, we've talked about, you know what happened in Hong Kong? Right before COVID, they were on the verge of a revolution.
Yeah.
The CCP didn't like that. Mark, dude, why don't you think about that? Why don't we empower them? Why don't we encourage the Chinese overthrow their government? But it's never going to happen. That will never happen. I wish it would, but we're, you know.
I mean, it's got to happen sometime, right?
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
No.
Eventually, something has to happen where there's a straw that breaks the camel's back.
If this continues, possibly. Because they've hit a point now to where it's like, honestly, when something like this gets to that point where you have no choice, either fight or die, then they're going to choose to fight. I mean, there's just no other option. So we'll see. But videos surfacing on social media in the past week from Shanghai and rapidly deleted on government-controlled sites like Weibo show mounting desperation as poorly planned coronavirus lockdowns leaves the heart of China's economy with rotting food and a lack of basic necessities. Many of the videos surfacing on Weibo, China's most popular microblogging platform, cannot be independently verified and disappear shortly after they appear, but translators outside the country have saved and circulated them, painting a picture of a growing catastrophe alongside anonymous warnings from farms and food distributors that the supplies are rotting while people fear starvation because the Communist Party will not allow enough people to work to distribute the food. This is an authoritarian government. This is what ours was on the verge of becoming. Do you see now why you need a Second Amendment, folks? Do you see now why you need guns? These people have nothing. Nothing. They're going to have to resort back to like the feudal days of Japan and China where they had to use samurais and kais to like fight their friggin' overlords. When they strip you of your ability to defend yourself, eventually when it gets to that point where you are literally trapped in your building and you cannot even go, how are you supposed to defend yourself? With rocks against guns? And now Joe Biden is coming out there, and we're going to get to this article, about ghost guns and then manufacturing your own firearms. And it's pathetic. It's fucking pathetic. The videos follow reports that Beijing deployed the People's Liberation Army to patrol the city and keep people locked in their homes at gunpoint. The Chinese Communist Party announced that it would impose its most stringent antivirus measures ever on its largest city in late March, allegedly necessary to contain the highly infectious Omicron variant of Chinese coronavirus. So now you're saying I'm forced between two different variables. I'm forced to either deal with COVID, which I've got a 98% survivability rating chance, or I starve to death. I'm not a gambler, but I'm probably going to go with, I'll take my chances with COVID. Just throwing that out there.
They're in prison. But I mean, that's terrible. I get busy living or get busy dying, I guess, over there, right?
Bro, it's insane. Ron DeSantis has raised $100 million in 2022 election cycle. Floridians love them some DeSantis. Like, this dude is picking up such serious traction. Like, he's all over the place. Not in a bad way. He's everywhere.
And he's
doing all the right moves.
And he's peddling freedom.
And he is. He's actually promoting freedom. What the fuck? This is so weird to me.
You don't talk to kids about sex.
Yeah.
Don't shut down businesses.
Like, Disney has really catapulted him into a position where he is really a national favorite right now. He is a national favorite. If he continues keeping this traction going, dude, I sincerely wonder if... I don't think he's going to run. I don't.
Yeah, I don't think so.
I think it'd be smart of him to wait, let Trump do it again. If Trump decides to. If Trump doesn't, he needs to step up. I really think if Trump decides, but I think Trump will. Yeah, Trump's basically hinted and alluded. He can't come out and say it.
Yeah.
But...
yeah, I mean, anytime anybody asks him, he's like, well, I can't talk about it. But I think you're going to be very happy.
I think you'll be very happy, folks. And this time, Dominion software, it's going away now.
I mean, it's...
LinkedIn reinstates Air Force veterans post after wrongfully calling it hate speech and apologizes. Tommy Laren's going off on this. I think maybe this is a mistake on LinkedIn's part. I don't hear a lot of controversy about LinkedIn. It's whatever. But LinkedIn reinstated an Air Force veterans post and apologized after wrongfully accusing her of violating the platform's hate speech policy. And she posted, she said, freedom has been secured with our blood, sweat, lives, and tears, the veteran Gretchen Smith told Fox News. Every American has a duty to protect our freedoms. I'm grateful LinkedIn reinstated our account, she added. Now we can resume focusing on veteran crisis needs. Her post was this, verbatim. It says, I am not responsible for your student debt. I grew up in poverty in North Carolina, ate from a garden, name was on a community angel for a tree for Christmas, bought clothes from yard sales, and I was lucky on a rare occasion, Sky City. I joined the Air Force and then went to college. I made it happen. I don't understand. Like, maybe it could have been something in the algorithm. I think this is a nothing burger. Smith appealed to LinkedIn, reinstated the post. We confirmed your content does not... I get this all the time. Sometimes there are certain words and certain orders that will trigger freaking algorithms to come in and delete it.
Well, can't somebody just go and hit report?
Yeah.
On you, and
if enough people hit a report,
right,
you can actually get somebody's stuff flagged and taken down.
Yeah, so somebody just got offended that she said that she didn't want to pay for somebody else's college, and they're like, you
so I don't think this is really
bitch.
a big deal. Like, I just...
It'd be one thing if they didn't reinstate it, but if I had to guess, I would say that a handful of liberal douchebags just didn't like the fact that she didn't want to pay off other people's debt, which is...
And I can't accuse LinkedIn of being with Facebook. I don't know a lot about LinkedIn, but...
It's for jobs.
Exactly. So it's kind of like, read the room, but at the same time, whatever, I get it. But to accuse LinkedIn, or the way that apparently Tommy and the rest of them are trying to make this out to be, it's like, I don't think LinkedIn is a Facebook 2.0. Then again, I don't know enough about it, but it's like, okay, if you're just pissed off they deleted a post and you appealed it and you got it back, what's the big deal?
Right.
I don't understand why this is such a big deal. I pulled it up. I'm like, wait, LinkedIn silencing veterans? Like, what the fuck? And you read it, it's like, what? Okay. I think this is just a little grandstanding. So, Representative Massey cites Constitution to slam Biden's upcoming ghost gun rule. Congress makes laws. This is coming out. There's a lot of speculation about this, and Biden's doing what Biden's going to do. Congress makes no law, no POTUS, Massey tweeted. Representative Thomas Massey and Second Amendment advocates are pushing back against the Biden administration's upcoming rule on ghost guns, characterizing the rule to rein in privately made firearms without serial numbers as unconstitutional. That's bullshit. That is bullshit. Nowhere in the Constitution does it say you can't do that. Nowhere. The Constitution does not authorize the federal government to prevent you from making your own firearm. This is a fact that has been recognized for 200 years. Also, Article 1, Section 1, literally the first operative sentence in the Constitution says Congress makes laws, not POTUS. Representative Thomas Massey tweeted Sunday. Again, the executive branch has way too much power. Way too much power. And it's true. Congress does make law. I mean, it's a three. I get it. I get how the system works. It's like
checks and balances.
But Biden does not have the authority. But if Biden does this, it's like, dude, what the fuck is going on? Now you have politicians flagrantly disregarding the Constitution altogether. It's like, if you're not going to abide by the law, why should the people? People should be able to make their own firearms, 100%.
Oh, yeah.
3D print the shit out of those bad boys and fuck the ATF. Because all this leads to is what's going on in China right now. Eventually, your guns are possessed and you got nothing. Russian legislator calls Ukraine total war, demands attack on NATO convoys. Now, this is the article I wanted to get to. This is insanely dangerous. Russian officials this week escalated their rhetoric about Western support for Ukraine in the current conflict, but it is still not clear how Russia intends to respond. A total war has begun, Duma Deputy Oleg Morzov said on Friday during a talk show appearance on Russia's First Channel. And we have to make the collective West understand that they have no chance of winning this war. Bro, look, regardless of what this guy's going to say, if you genuinely feel like if the West were to directly get involved in this, they wouldn't beat the brakes off of your sorry ass, you don't know military. You don't know strategy. Kiev is giving you a run for your money. All of Ukraine is giving you a run for your money. The supposed great bear of the fucking East or whatever. The great red threat. You're really dropping the ball on this one. But it does, and again, I am not trying to make it out like they're not a big deal. Putin could be holding reserves back and just waiting. I don't know. And I certainly don't want to underestimate him or overestimate him for that matter. But to sit there and say that, and this is like a bait. It's like a bait. But at the same time, it's a very stupid thing to say. He says, I'm certain in the very near future, Morzov said, we will see special operations both from our allies, our air forces, and from our special units in order to destroy weapons shipments from NATO countries. The West wants this war to continue for as long as possible, Morzov added. They presume that this war will exhaust our military and economic resources. Well, it kind of is. I mean, it definitely is. He also acknowledged, without saying so directly, that Russia has failed to achieve its military goals. The war has changed, and we can only win this war by using means other than those we have been employing up to this point, Morzov said. That's dangerous. Like, what are you talking about? What other means? Recent history provides some indication of Moscow's possible next step. Before the start of the current conflict, Russia had been credibly accused of employing covert operations on the territory of NATO countries in order to disrupt weapon shipments to Ukraine. On October 16, 2014, a Czech arms depot in the town of Verbice exploded, killing 2 workers, according to an investigation of the Czech magazine Respect. The weapons belonged to Bulgarian arms dealer Emilia Gebrev, who was planning to send the shipments to Ukraine. At the time, Ukraine was fighting a defensive war against Russian-backed separatists in the country's eastern Donbass region. April 2021, the Czech Republic expelled 18 Russian diplomats after evidence emerged that the explosion had been caused by agents of GRU, Russian military intelligence divisions. The agents in question, Alexander Mishkin and Anatoly Chepyeg, had arrived in Prague on October 13, 2014, and departed on the day of the explosion. Records show that during their trip, they used false documents in order to request access to the arms depot. So essentially, I think what he's talking about is like using guerrilla warfare tactics or espionage tactics. Mm-hmm. I mean, you kind of should have been doing that already, in my mind. Like, you should have, like, I don't know. Maybe that should have been, like, the first thing you try. I don't know. What do I know? I'm not General Miley. I'm not an expert.
I think there's only so much you can replicate in training.
Yeah.
So once you actually get out to the battlefield, I think you really got to regroup and kind of figure out the best plan of approach. You know what I mean?
Well, he clearly is admitting and acknowledging that the current plan of attack is not working, and Putin's probably got to be fuming right now. This is lasting as long as it is. It wasn't. I can only think in his mind, with this army that he had ready to go, that the weather was against him. He just, I can't, I feel bad being
raining.
It's raining.
I don't even know if I want to be here.
The tanks, the thread is falling off. The mud makes freedom of maneuver very hard. I not tell Putin this, but we go very slow. You know, it's like little putt-putt tanks. We make boom here and there, and yes. I couldn't even imagine being on Putin's staff. Oh my God. Head's got to be rolling. He's got to be so pissed. So this, Justin, the Jeffrey Epstein told people that Prince Andrew was a useful idiot, the book claims. Former Vanity Fair editor Tina Brown has written a bombshell book titled The Palace Papers. Jeffrey Epstein called Prince Andrew a useful idiot, a new bombshell book alleges. Former Vanity Fair editor Tina Brown has written a new book that's coming out on April 26th titled The Palace Papers Inside the House of Windsor, The Truth and the Turmoil. It explores the scandals, love affairs, power plays, and betrayals that have rocked the British royal family over the last 20 years. It promises to feature new revelations based on... I don't fucking care. I was just interested in like him calling fucking Prince Andrew a useful idiot. It's like, that's coming from a pedophile. Like, geez, dude. That's bad. That's bad. Like, Epstein basically said you're an idiot. Like, yeah, but you have sex with children, bro. You're a piece of shit. Like, yeah. I don't know.
Well, it just goes to show you that they use useful idiots to...
Oh, yeah. He's a pawn. He's a pawn in their game. Absolutely. Yep. A lot of hoopla in the Trump movement that Trump this weekend came out and endorsed Dr. Oz for U.S. Senate in Pennsylvania. Dr. Oz, the heart surgeon on TV that has been there for years. I don't know a lot about this guy's political leanings. I'm not even going to sugarcoat that. I don't know. But there are a lot of conservatives very upset about this. I'm trying to read the articles and figure out why exactly. Like, where is his standings? Because I'm kind of like... If you came from leftist Hollywood, but you're running as a conservative, like, are you actually a conservative or are you more independent that is just using the Republican platform because you don't align with so much with the left? Like, I don't know. I just don't know. But I know Dr. Oz, a lot of his stuff in the medical field has been debunked, though. Like, he's made a lot of statements that he has to come back and, like, retract. But that's medical. That's not political. So I can't hold that against him. But I don't know. I don't know. I saw this trending on a few different pages and it was just like, wow, okay.
Hey, if you have money and a little bit of a name,
apparently you can run.
You can get out there and make a run at it because 100%. Democrats are so terrible.
Yeah, they are that bad.
Like
people out of the left.
Awful.
Yeah.
When your main talking point is talking to children about sex and genders,
funny
and all
you just said that. Abigail Disney calls right-wing attacks on Disney absurd. Says it's an attempt to push history backward. This language, this narrative, this rhetoric is disgusting. It's abhorrent. You're using these feel-good little sayings like Mark Levin, like 50 years from now, we'll look back. Her, same thing. We're trying to push history backward. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought not sexualizing kids was like a good thing. Yeah. I don't know. Like, okay, groomer. So Abigail Disney, the director and granddaughter of Disney's co-founder Roy, shut down conservatives who attacked the company after it spoke out against Florida's Don't Say Gay bill, again, it's parental rights bill, which was signed into law last month. Suck it. Appearing Sunday on CNN's reliable resources, Disney described the anti-Disney campaign as a coordinated strategic plan. Yes, it is, because of the dumb shit you've said. Your park should be emptied and then bombed. I'm sorry. You people are abhorrent. You're disgusting. You belong in concentration camps. You believe in sexualizing children. You people are the scum of the earth. If somebody walked up to you today and put a bullet in your head, I would applause. And I would probably do a little tap dance because it's probably protecting the children. You have had Disney executives. Daily Wire just busted a story out today or yesterday talking about they have videos of Disney executives coming out there saying, yes, we're pushing a hardcore gay agenda on the children. Yeah. They literally came out, and you can go watch Ben Shapiro's stories right now and you will see it. These people have nothing to hide. They want to sexualize your children. They are disgusting. They deserve death. That's all there is to it. Make pedophiles afraid again.
You know, their stock is down like 26%.
They're fucking hemorrhaging money. And when idiots like this nut job come out there and say, it's just a right-wing... Dude, you have Democrats coming after you. You know you fucked up royally when both sides of the just completely split aisle like, no, that's fucked up. We don't... Because there's a lot of Democrats that are not on board with this. Yeah. I know a lot of right-wing pundits are trying to attack Democrats as far as like, you know, all of you want child... There's a lot of Democrats that are against this saying, no, I do not agree with this. I don't agree with this. She says, Disney seems like the biggest target because it's so woven into family, she told host Brian Stelter. And so if you can create this idea that somebody's in there trying to indoctrinate your child, my goodness, the paranoid imagination can run circles with that. Your own people have admitted this. What are you talking about? You are living in complete denial. Do you not listen to what your employees are saying? The videos that are being pushed out there by your executives? The CEO himself saying they want to make more LGBT stuff for children? What world are you living in, woman? Jesus. You people are ridiculous. I can't even. On a scale of 1 to even, I can't even. But, you know, again, this is a great thing for midterms coming up. Disney's going to double down. It's going to draw so much divisiveness between people.
It's what they're running on.
And you are going to lose. You are going to lose horribly. Yeah.
The state of Virginia, I mean, they ran on that same exact...
And they got creamed. New Jersey almost flipped. A predominantly blue state almost flipped. Now, and that was when it first kind of really started trickling in and circulating. Now it's everywhere.
Oh, it's
And the parents are going to come out in full force saying, no, we do not want leftists taking over this country. They are disgusting. They are abhorrent. And I'm not talking about all. I'm talking about those that are basically pushing this LGBTQ2A, PFWB, MWPF Chang, I don't know what the fuck it is now, this agenda on the children. Leave the children alone. It's nasty. But I did see Shapiro announce the fact that they're launching a $100 million company to essentially start creating content for children. And they've actually recruited the writers of VeggieTales.
There you go. I mean, there's a market.
Where is my nuclear weapon? It's in the Ukraine. Where? I grew up on VeggieTales. I love VeggieTales.
Did you? I didn't.
Yeah. Well, that was more my generation, though, because I think it first came out when I was a kid. But VeggieTales is very popular in the Christian world. It's really good for kids. Teaches them valuable lessons.
My kids never got into it.
I loved it.
Yeah.
It was fun. But... all right, ladies and gentlemen, that concludes today's episode of the All American Savage Show podcast. We appreciate you being here. Also, make sure you go follow the new Instagram and Facebook page, Dating Libs, DATINGLIBS. You're going to have some interesting things to see over there. You have some interesting people on these dating apps. And hey, if you're trying to hook up with a lib, we got you covered. It's the new, most fascinating, premiered SJW dating site on the nation. I don't know. It's a lot of fun to read a lot of these just crazy weirdos out there. Now look, I don't care what you do in the bedroom, but some of these people, you just bring it on yourself. You just bring it on yourselves. So it is what it is.
Weirdos.
I saw one woman on Hinge and she was like hoping to survive to see the end of capitalism. I was like, good luck, bitch. Good luck. And as fat as you are, heart disease is going to get you really soon. So fingers crossed. All right. Love you. We appreciate you. Check out shellshockcbd.com. Thank you for your subscriptions on Twitch, the bits. You people are fucking amazing, and we will see you bright and early right back here tomorrow on the All American Savage Show podcast. You got anything to say, my man?
Love you guys.
As always, you stay savage.